to my channel. I wanted to come on and just share with you some of the books that I'm looking at reading in April. I did not post a TBR video in March, and there was kind of a strategy to it because I didn't want to just talk about the books that I had talked about in the previous TBR videos, and a lot of my reading in March was just trying to catch up on reading intentions. So I did a lot of reading for the BookTube Prize in March, and those are all books that I had mentioned in my February TBR. So I said I'd try to kind of catch up, and somewhere in the process of March I'd probably share my TBR for what I would read after I'd finished with the BookTube Prize. I read BookTube Prize books until the day before, or the day off. I think the day before the ballots were due was when I finished. So didn't share, which was March 30th. Can't make a TBR video on the day before the month ends, right? So I'm here today, a few days into April, but still the beginning of April, to share with you some of the books that I'm hoping to read, planning to read, intending to read in April. A couple of them are books that I've talked about before. Some of them are books that I need to read for the BookTube Prize, books for Buddy Reads and for the book club, as well as just catching up on some of my other reading intentions. So I'll share with you the titles. So the first book I'll mention is a book that I'm hoping to get a copy from the library, and that is the RunwrightReads book club selection for April, which is How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water by Angie Cruz. I am really intrigued by this title. Let's see how the book goes, but I'm looking forward to it. So I requested a copy from my library. It hasn't come in yet. So quick story about my library. So I lost my library card. My library system, when we're checking out books, the system is that there's a pad and you put your library card down, and then you put the library books that you're checking out on top of them as you're going through. It's a touch screen, and my daughter and I, we go to the library, and I pick her up in the afternoons. I pick her up after school. We head to the library for half an hour to an hour thereabouts, and she loves doing the checkout for me. So I have to hoist her up on my leg so she can reach the computer, and so we go through the process together. And she's learning to read, so she's learning how to read print or checkout and thereabouts. So put my library card down on the pad, and then as we're scanning the books, you put the books on top of the library card, and then you press checkout, or checkout first, and then you press print your receipt, and then the books are ready. They're demagnetized. I don't know if they're magnetized. Whatever it is, that process is where they take off the alarm. That happens on that pad, and then you take up the books, and then you take up your card. And I always thought about it that someday I'd probably forget the card on the pad, and I think it happened. So my library card was left at the library, and so yeah, a lot happened, and so I wasn't able to request the new books that I needed for April. But yesterday after school, we were able to go to the library. I returned a huge bag of books, like 15 books. I think we checked in. So I have my library card back, and I have access to the online system, and so I went on last night and requested all the books that I need to be sent to me for April reading, including the RunwrightReads book club selection, because I can't buy books right now. That's another story, but we'll save that for another time. So I'm getting some of these books, all of these books, hopefully from the library. If I don't already own the book, I'm hoping to get it from the library if I need to read it. So first book on my list is How Not to Drown in a Glass of Water by Angie Cruz, and I'm hoping to get a copy of that coming in from the library very soon. I requested it, and it says I'm first in the queue, so I may even get my copy by the end of this week. Long story, but I hope you stick around for that. So that's the first book that's on my TBR. Aside from that, I have a reading challenge that I've been participating in. It's a 4-month challenge, 10 books to read in 4 months, and I'm just never really good at choosing the books, because I always say I want to choose books that I already wanted to read or needed to read, but then I always read lots of other books. Like, I've read way more than 10 books since the beginning of January, but somehow I still have 4 books from that original list that I still need to read before the end of this month. So the titles are The Lovely Bones, author is Alice Sebald. I'm currently reading this, and man, that's heavy emotion right there. So hoping that this will be a kind of a palate cleanser. Love by Toni Morrison. Toni Morrison writes some heavy stuff too, but a book that is entitled Love, it can't be heavy, right? It can't be heavy. Love. So that's also for the Facebook challenge. The Dictionary of Lost Words by Pip Williams is a book that I chose to read to meet the prompt of read a book by an Australian author, a book that is set in Australia. And so I had this from the publishers maybe last year or the year before, and I need to read it, so put it in that category. Also have Killers of the Flower Moon by David Gran, and so something that you'll see recurring through this list, I'll talk about it a little later, is books about death. I don't want to read books that are about death, but somehow this is about a character that died, a novel, and then this, the Osage murders and the birth of the FBI. So I don't know. In Jamaica, they have a word for people like me. They call we Freddy. They call we Freddy. I'm a Freddy cat, if that's what you call it. I get scared easily, and I'll read the thing that is scary to me, but then I won't be able to sleep at night. So I feel like I want to change this title, like I want to substitute it for something else, but I picked it. These are the 4 books that I need to read for the book challenge by Erin. That's the Facebook group I'm participating in, and I want to read those pretty soon. So I'm trying to read them like this week before my books that are coming from the library get to me, so I can kind of get those out and start returning these to the library, because 2 of those are library books as well. Yeah, aside from that, BookTube prize. So we're now in the quarterfinals round. The octafinals complete. We're in the quarterfinals round. For the octafinals round, I was assigned nonfiction, and I really enjoyed reading those books. If you watched my video, you will see I had a hard time ranking those books because I really enjoyed most of them. And this round, for the quarterfinals, I'm reading novels. So I have 6 novels that have been assigned to me, and I requested all of them from the library. None of them have come in yet, but we'll see which ones come in. I'd like to read at least a half of them this month. So the titles are Demon Copperhead. That's by Barbara Kingsolver. The Marriage Portrait by Maggie O'Farrell. Trust by Hernan Diaz. Fellowship Point, I didn't write down the name of the author, but you'll see it here. Night Crawling by Leila Motley. And The Book of Goose by Yi Yun Lee. So those are the 6 titles that have been assigned to me for the BookTube prize. And I'm waiting for them to come in from the library to see what I will read this month. So putting all of them on my TBR, because I don't know which ones will come in. And if all 6 come in and I could read all 6 in April, that would be fantastic too, right? So aside from that, I have a couple of other reading groups. I'm buddy reading books with Rosalie and Columbus. And Rosalie sent me her print copy of Memento Mori by Muriel Sparks. So that's the book we're reading this month. I love this cover. Older characters, love it. I don't know if I've ever seen a book cover that was like this, where on the front, I mean, the author's name is here too, but as part of the graphic, the title is on the front and the author's name is on the back. Isn't that beautiful? So another book about dying, Memento Mori, remember that you will die, is the title translated. So yeah, you're gonna see a lot of books about death. So yeah, I think at least one of these BookTube prize books also has to do with someone who dies. I don't know. So then we have my little quandary where I have these books from the library that I wanted to read, requested them because I wanted to read them, but they deal with death. And so I don't think I'm going to be able to get to them this month. I'm going to hang on to them for a little longer just to see if maybe I just like knock out all the books about death and dying in April, and then we can just kind of move on to the happy times in May. So I have The Black Echo by Michael Connelly. This is the beginning of the Harry Bosch series, and I'd requested this because of a conversation that I was having with my brother-in-law. And I wanted to read this. but I don't know, maybe now might not be the right time, but we'll see. I'll hold on to it. And then I have a Stephen King book, which is Rita Hayworth and the Shawshank Redemption, and no, not the Rita Hayworth and Shawshank Redemption, which of course this is the book that Shawshank Redemption the movie is based on. But you know, Stephen King writes some really heavy stuff, so I don't know. It's a short one, it's a novella. It is only a little over 100 pages, so I don't know. I'm keeping these on here just in case. I'm also leaving a little bit of room on my TBR to just pick up books from my shelves, because one of the things that I said I was going to do this year is to read more of the books that I already own, and I'm looking at that shelf right there. Like, all of those are titles that I want to read, need to read, and own, and I can't buy new books until I've read 25 books from my shelves. And I've been reading a couple of things from my shelves this year, but nowhere near 25. So I need to just pick up a couple of these books and read them. Yeah, I'm going to be doing that in April, at least one, hopefully two. Would be great if I could read more than that, but at least one. We're going to try. We're going to try. So here are a couple of other books that I have out from the library that I'm hoping to get to this month as well. I'm just going to hold this up here. Wonderful Adventures of Mrs. Seacole in Many Lands by Mary Seacole. I've been trying to read this book since October, and I said in March that if I didn't read this book in March, I was going to return it to the library. I didn't get to it, but I kind of had a reason, because BookTube prize. So I'm saying that if I don't finish this book by the end of next week, so by the middle of April, if I haven't read this book, or at least attempted to start it again, then I'm just going to say I'm not as interested in the book as I said I was. Because I'm not just reading for obligations, I'm also choosing other books to read. So if I don't read this by April 15th, this is a return to the library without having cracked it this time. So putting this on my TBR for April, again, just because. And then this book was recommended to me when I read The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning by Margareta Magnusson. Vernitra, hi Vernitra. Vernitra suggested that I also read this because someone who had read Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning and recommended it also recommended Goodbye Things by Fumio Sasaki. So I requested this from the library, and this is translated from Japanese by the translator. Translator's name is Eriko Sujita. So yeah, those are the books that I'm looking at reading in April. Let me know in the comments down below what book you're most excited to read and if you've started it already. So let's chat in the comments down below. I have started 2 books and I'm pretty excited about them, so you'll be hearing from me about those books very soon. Give this video a thumbs up if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see more. Let's chat down there, and until we come back for another video, happy reading. Bye!